Guinea-nomics, when a guinea pig talks to you about economics. Hi, I'm a guinea pig, and I hate it when my carrots go bad. I also hate it when my owner's money goes bad. That's why I want to talk to you about the 6 characteristics of money. Because if a money is not good at having these 6 characteristics, it is not good at being money. My last video was about the 3 functions of money, to be a measure of value, a medium of exchange, and a store of value. The 6 characteristics, being durable, portable, uniform, divisible, acceptable, and limited, are what allows money to fulfill these 3 functions properly. When it comes to being a store of value, we need to make sure our money is durable. That's one of the reasons carrots are not good as money. They eventually rot. Metals don't rot, neither do cowrie shells. That's one of the reasons why these types of durable objects were some of the earliest forms of money. But an equally important reason why these things could be used as money is because they were also portable. If we're going to use something as a medium of exchange, we're going to have to carry it around from place to place. You can't exactly load up an acre of land on a wheelbarrow. Little pieces of metal or shells are just the right size to jingle around in your pocket. But for our 3rd function of money, being a measure of value, things get a little bit tricky. In order to measure something, we need to have a unit, like an inch or a gram. That's what it means to measure, to say how many units of something you have. We want each piece of money to be identical to any other piece of money, which we call being uniform. And one of the great things about metals is that we can melt and mold them into uniform shapes and sizes. As for the cowrie shells, as long as everyone regards the shells as being uniform or equal in value shell per shell, that's all that matters. Remember, money arose as a substitute for bartering. We don't actually care about the gold or the silver or the shells. We care about what they represent. They are tokens of value that can be redeemed for real goods and services. So if everyone agrees that cowrie shells are uniform enough, they can work. But if people start getting picky about which shells are worth more than other shells, then we devolve back into bartering, and it defeats the purpose. And metal coins are great at being uniform. They are also great at being divisible. Now that we have a unit of measurement for our money, we want to be able to do some math with it. That's why we made it uniform. We need to be able to break big pieces of money into smaller pieces of money, and to group smaller pieces of money into bigger pieces of money. We need denominations. Making money divisible also helps to make sure it stays portable. It's one thing to carry a few metal coins around. It's another thing to carry 400,000 coins around. So if we make a few different types of coins with different pictures on them, like say a fox head coin that can be equal to 10 pigeon head coins, and then a lion head coin that can be equal to 100 fox head coins, we can still just carry a few pieces for whatever we need. And we can make change. If I've only got a fox head coin and you're trying to sell me something that's only worth 2 pigeon head coins, I'm going to want 8 pigeon head coins back. And making our money easily divisible makes everything so much easier. So now we've got money that is durable, portable, uniform, and divisible. The next thing we need is for it to be acceptable, which is just another way of saying that it is a medium of exchange. If people will accept it. Acceptability is included as a characteristic because, depending on why we're pondering the characteristics of money, we may need to make sure we remember it. So we don't try to use something gross like entrails or crypto. I don't know. It's just that when we are listing the characteristics, acceptability is one of them. Moving on. So our last characteristic is being limited, which sounds like a bummer. Doesn't everyone want unlimited money? Well, no. Because if it was unlimited, it would be worthless. If everyone has unlimited money, no one needs your money. You need your money to be worth something. And ultimately, it's only worth what someone is willing to give you for it. Money is a token of value that can be redeemed. And for those tokens to maintain their value, they have to remain limited. Making sure our money stays limited is necessary so that it continues to function as a store of value. The thing with metals and cowrie shells is there's only a certain amount of them at any one time. People can collect more shells, people can find more metals, but it's a slow process. It takes time and effort. You can't just create them out of thin air. These things are automatically limited, which makes it a little ironic that currency, something we do create out of thin air, makes such a great money. Currency is a type of money that is issued by a governing authority, like a king or a country or a group of mountain men. The thing with currency is that somebody creates it on purpose, and that somebody, the issuing authority, is responsible for managing it. They get to design it, they get to decide if it's made out of copper or paper, they get to issue more of it when they feel like it. They get to retire it, which means to destroy some of it to decrease the supply or make it more limited. And if they're a powerful government, they get to create rules about who has to use it and when. But they can't make it be money. I've been talking about currency generally as a broad classification of money, but not every specific currency ever created is money. There's lots of museums with lots of collections of defunct currencies. A currency that no one wants to use is just an art piece or scrap. it isn't money. It is the widespread acceptance of a currency as a medium of exchange, the practice of setting prices or measuring value with it, and its ability to store value that turns a currency into money. These days, most of the money we use doesn't live in our pockets as paper bills or metal coins. It's in an electronic ledger being transferred from place to place through credit cards, direct deposits, or wire transfers. But it still has to have all 6 characteristics. It has to be durable. Just imagine if some power surge or ill-fated software update wiped out all those accounts. It's more portable than ever. It still comes in standard units, and it is infinitesimally divisible. We all accept it, and we make sure it stays limited. At least, that's all true for a government-backed currency. When it comes to crypto or some other money replacement scheme, you have to be really sure it's going to meet all 6 characteristics, not just for today, but into the future. But setting aside these technical discussions about how we define money, the fuller truth is there is no hard and fast line between what is and what is not money. Something can be money-ish to a certain degree and bartery to another extent. What makes something money, as opposed to a commodity to barter with, is how people interact with it. Even a government-backed currency, the most pure form of money we have, can be used as a commodity when people interact with it that way. We call that currency trading. And when it comes to interest rates, well, those are the prices we set on money, as if the money itself is being bought or sold. And they work to help smooth out some of the issues we have with how currency stores value. It gets super complicated, but appreciating what makes something money, and especially a good money, is the first step to understanding any of it. Pumpkin's going to help us understand even more about money when she takes us through how it works mathematically. I'll be back later to talk all about demand. Now that we have money, we're going to want to spend it. We demand something in return for our money. Otherwise, well, it isn't money. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you back here soon. Bye!